Okay, so as Superintendent Carasosa was talking, I realized I did everything wrong this morning. When I got up at 4:30, I decided I could go back to sleep or I could go for a run. So I ran a 5K. It was 80 degrees. I was extremely sweaty. And then this is a semi-new suit. I'm not taking off my jacket. I don't have the fancy mic, so I'm going to stand right here. And if someone can bring that chair, because I'm probably going to pass out. Steve Lamar tried to dress me. He said, don't wear heels because this goes down, and so if I fall, it's his fault. But honestly, I'm really honored to serve as your interim vice president for this semester, and I'm really looking forward to a successful semester. And one of the biggest things I'll be working on is our accreditation report. So I want to give you a little bit of background on accreditation, where we've been and where we're going, and talk a little about the incredible work the team has been doing over the past year and a half, 2 years. So first of all, let's see if I do this right. I practiced yesterday, but let's talk about our accreditation that happened in 2006. So 2006 was our last accreditation visit, and at that time we were actually put on warning, and there were 6 recommendations made for the college. Following that, we were required to give an accreditation progress report. And at that time, we were removed from warning, and it addressed the 6 recommendations, and we were reaffirmed accreditation. We were required to do a follow-up report on 4 of those recommendations in 2008, and then the cycle for accreditation works where you get your full accreditation every 6 years, and then every 3 years, in between that, every 6 years, so in the 3rd year, you're required to give what's called a midterm report. So we did that in 2009. So currently we're working on our 2012 accreditation, and let me tell you a little bit about what we've been doing. So in 2010, our accreditation began meeting and collecting data. In 2011, they met and they went through training. They developed the processes that they were going to do to write the report. They did the campus climate survey, and I think some of you probably remember that. You responded to a survey, and that's incorporated within the self-evaluation. And they completed the self-evaluation report in 2011. In 2012, a draft of the report went to the Academic Senate and the Board of Trustees, and the final draft was sent to the ACCJC, which is our commission. It's the Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges, and it's under WASC, the Western Association of Accrediting Association, and they are our entity that will be coming out to visit us. And August 3rd, the final draft went to ACCJC, and that was with a lot of work from a lot of people. What we're expecting next is that in September, our team leader is Mr. William Duncan. He's the president from Sierra College. He will be coming out with his assistant, and they'll actually visit the campus. They'll meet with Superintendent Carasosa and myself. They'll look at the site. They'll look at where they're going to be housed. They'll talk to us a little bit about the report. They're all reviewing the report right now as we speak. And he'll give us some feedback and talk to us about anything that might be missing, or that any additional information we might want to provide when the team gets here. And at that time, the team will then visit us October 8th through 11th, 2012. So get your calendars, keep them clear for that week. And about a couple of weeks before that visit in October, they will provide us with a list of the people that they'll be meeting with. So they'll give that in advance, so you'll know, pretty much know if you're going to be meeting with the team. I wanted to show you our awesome report, because here it is. This is the accreditation report. It's huge, it's thick, it's on the website. I'm going to show you that in a second. But there was a lot of work that went into that. Again, I want to say that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what's included in the self-evaluation. So the first part is an introduction. And in the introduction, it includes the history of the college, our philosophy, and some of our major accomplishments, our demographics, organizational charts. One of the things that I would recommend reading is our major achievements since 2006. Although we've had some trial and tribulations over the last year and a half or so, when you read in one little area all of the things that we've accomplished since 2006, it's pretty remarkable. It's everything from our facilities, our buildings, to programs, grants, things we've done in student services, huge changes we've made for student success. It's so great to read that section. So I really recommend you guys take a look at the major achievements, because we did that all together. The other part, the next section is the responses to the accreditation 2006 visit. So we still are required to talk about the things that we were put on warning for in 2006. So there's a section devoted to that. And it's interesting because we've made so much change in many of those areas. That'll be really interesting for you to take a look at that and see some of the change we've done, some of the things we've instituted like program review over the past several years. The next part starts the standards, and what the whole accreditation visit is based on is these 4 standards. There's 4 standards, and they each focus on a different area, and that's what the team is going to come out and evaluate us on. They're going to evaluate our college on how well we do in each of those standards. So the first standard is the institutional mission and effectiveness, and that talks about things like well, of course, our mission, how well we talk about our mission, do we follow our mission and our vision, what is our governance structure like, do we follow a shared governance model, and how do we address planning, how do we do our planning at the college. The second standard is student learning programs and services, and that talks a lot about student learning outcomes, a little bit about how we share our public information. There's 3 areas under that. The first one is instructional programs. So that's everything on the academic side of the house. How do we deal with everything in curriculum, with our student learning outcomes? How do we address all of those? The second section is our student support services, and that includes everything on the student services side of the house. And they put a particular focus on equity, diversity, visibility, our counseling, how do we handle confidentiality of records, and how do we evaluate ourselves in those areas. The third area is library and learning support services, and as you can imagine, that deals with what is our library like, what kind of services do we provide, what type of resources do we have, and then also about our tutoring and those types of services for students. The third standard is resources, and what we look at there is 4 areas. The first one is human resources. So what are our hiring processes like? How effective are we with our hiring processes? How do we evaluate our hiring processes? What are our policies? How do we handle confidentiality? And what kind of professional development and support do we provide for our staff and our faculty? The second area is physical resources. And in that area, we talk about safety, we talk about maintenance, we talk about our capital and our long-range planning. So this is where they focus on all our building and all our new structures that we have. The third area is our technology resources. And in there, we talk about the effectiveness of our technology, our training, and any upgrades that we're doing. So how are we doing in the technology world? And the fourth one is our financial resources. So how do we plan for our finances? That was a big focus of Superintendent Karasosa's talk, but how do we integrate that? Are we realistic? Do we have long-range plans? Are we visible about what we do? And they also take a look at our different contracts. Our fourth standard is leadership and governance, and this looks at our institutional governance models. It looks at our evaluation process, and it has a particular focus on our board and our superintendent president and how they work with our community and how they work with each other. So those are the basic accreditation themes. We had, over the last 2 years, a big group of people working on this, and I apologize again, this is small, but if you go to our website, you can read this a little more clearly, but our co-chairs were Jeff Basham and Duncan Graham, and I really want to thank Duncan because I just took this over in mid-June, and he did a great job getting this all organized over the past 2 years. And our standard co-chairs are Meng Vang and Luann Waldner for Standard 1. Standard 2 were Jody Jordan and Kathy Lewis. Standard 3 is Tim Hullabah and Steve Natoli. And Standard 4, Millie Owens and Jonna Shangle. And that comprised our executive committee with our editor, Jane Thomas. So that was the executive committee that met regularly, reviewed the entire report, and all of these people, I won't read all the names, but they did an incredible job over the past 2 years really getting this put together and getting us set to a place that we are going to be successful. Our accreditation visiting team is coming out, as I said, October 8th through 11th. We now know who our team is going to be. Our lead is Mr. William Duncan. He's the superintendent and president from Sierra College, and his assistant that will be coming out in advance with him is Ms. Janae Hallman. And as you can see, there's people from the Northern California, Southern California, and we have a good good group of diversity and people and job areas that will be coming out. So that's our visiting team. We're going to provide a lot more information to you on this on our website that I'm going to share with you in a second. We'll be putting up pictures and biographies so that you'll be able to recognize and know the visiting team before they come out. So I'll share that with you in just a second. What to expect during the accreditation visit. So as I mentioned, they're going to be here from October 8th through 11th. They're going to be housed in the North Administration Wing. If you haven't been to the North Administration Wing, walk through there after this today because it's beautiful. The facilities group has done an amazing job, and I know Ralph and his team has been moving everybody in like mad over the last few days. Their room 18 is a meeting room, and room 16 is a staff lounge. They require when they come out a separate locked area, so we're going to use that area for them to do their main work and everything. So they'll be there. The team members will visit all of our 3 campuses. They'll visit the Visalia campus, the COS farm, and the Hanford Educational Center. I don't expect that they'll be visiting Tulare yet, only because we're not at that point. We're just getting ready to submit what we call a substantive change that Dr. Vito's working on right now to the ACCJC that allows Tulare to come on board in January. So those are the 3 areas they'll be visiting. They're going to interview many people, but some of the people we know for sure they'll be interviewing is members of the accreditation team. They'll definitely meet with our program review leads, our Senate leaders, library personnel, our tutoring personnel, and faculty, staff, and students. So again, they'll come out 2 weeks in advance and they're going to give us a list of who they're going to meet, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to just come talk to you. If you're walking across the quad and you see one of them, they may stop and ask you a question. So be prepared. They also like to walk into classrooms and just see what's happening. So if you're teaching during that week and someone steps in the back of your classroom, think it might be one of the accreditation team members, but they also will maybe stop students out in the quad and just ask questions. They want to find out as much information as they can during that visit. So again, that's a good reason to go and look at their bios and pictures so you know who it is when they step in the back of your class or if they stop you in a hallway. How to prepare for the accreditation visit. Review the accreditation self-study. There's several copies, hard copies of the actual self-study, but it's also available online, and I'm going to link you to that in just a second. And also review, I mentioned this already, review the biographies and the pictures of the visiting team so you recognize them. And if you're asked questions or if you're interviewed, answer questions honestly and openly. And it's okay to say you don't know if you don't know. So the main thing they want is they want to know we're being honest and we're sharing everything that, in a fair and open way. So those would be my recommendations. Okay, where do we get the information you need? So my wonderful, amazing staff have been working so hard in getting a website together and getting SharePoint together. So Annette Googold and Bridget Hernandez have done a fantastic job getting this all together. We have information on the website and also on our intranet. So let me show you really quick here. If you go to the COS website and you go to About COS here, you go to accreditation. There's 2 things here. Reports is going to get to you all the old reports, everything we've done, the letters from our 2006 report, the 2007, 8, and 9 that I mentioned, plus the responses from the visiting, or the ACCJC at that point, and our substantive change proposals that I mentioned. Yeah, Terry. I don't know what just happened. Well, there you have it. Let's see, here comes Terry Gray. So once you go there, the other link, there was one that said reports, and the second, it's power. There we go. It's like Apollo 13 and his power. It didn't land me. So if you get to the website, the first one I showed has all of the reports. So you can take a look at the old reports. The second link is accreditation, 2012. And under that one, it has the current accreditation report. It has all of the names of the visiting team, the names of the team members, and we're getting their bios and pictures right now, so that will be up. And then it also has some information about the committee, so it has who was on our committee and that kind of thing. So Yeah, it's not going to come up. The second option you have is going to the intranet. And so under the intranet in SharePoint, if you go to Academic Services, go to Accreditation, and then click on Documents, that is going to give you all of the documents that the team has worked on over the past 2 years, different drafts of the report, the demographics that they used, the data that they used, and there you go. So thanks very much. Okay. And thanks to Terry coming up soon. So this is the 2012 page that I mentioned. So this, Bridget has the whole report up. You've got the committee, the timeline, the visiting team, and contact information in case you have any questions. So then if you scroll down to intranet, as I mentioned, if you go, let's see if it's going to pull it up. Oh man. Should have tried this. Okay, I'm not going to link to that one, but when you guys go in there, it's got all of the documentation in the intranet as well. So academic service, accreditation, and the documentation has everything else that you might want to take a look at for before the visiting team comes. So I'm really excited. I think that we're going to do just fine. I think that we're definitely going to have some recommendations. We're by far not perfect, but we've done so much over the past 6 years that I think we're really going to be recognized for that. And we've done so much hard work in improving our processes, our program review, our communication, everything. So I think there's some really good things that we are going to show to the group that comes out. I wanted to give special thanks to a few people who have really been helpful over the past 6 weeks, getting everything finalized, formatted, edited, and everything else. So I want to thank Annette Giegold, Bridget Hernandez, Elaine Webb, and then Dave Cargill did our graphics, and Kevin McCusker actually drove to Bakersfield. The van broke down. He had to walk back, and he actually fixed the van, came back, who knew he was also a mechanic, and hand-carried the documents back from Bakersfield, so I really appreciate all of their support. I also want to just send out a thank you to Kevin McCusker and Terry Gray, because they put together the slideshow of the staff and faculty as you were walking in, and also Dr. Dudo put together the slideshow for the Tulare Center, so I just want to send a thanks to all of them for their work. So that's the general thing about accreditation. If you have any questions, feel free to talk to me, to talk to Jeff Basham, the co-chair, and to talk to any of the members of the committee, because they have a lot of information for you. So we're looking forward to a great visit, and it's going to be extremely successful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. And just in closing, again, thank you all for your time this morning, your attentiveness. I think it's an exceptional skill in technology when you can program the battery life of the laptop to go out when you think the show should be over. And so I used way too much time and took too much of that battery. As we leave today, you can see on the screen behind me the things that are available to us for the remainder of the day. We hope that all of you will take the opportunity to come by and hang out with us a little bit at lunch if you can. We'll be on campus. Again, in closing, thank you for your time. And I guess I want to say just this as we close, you guys. I'm extremely excited to be here. I know we have a lot of hard work ahead of us. Contrary to what rumor and legend and lore may have out there, you know, that the school board hired Stan Carrizosa to be the hatchet man, or that, you know, he's got this history of leading organizations. I can tell you this, I came in with my eyes wide open. I'm here because I wanted to come home. I wasn't searching for a job when this opportunity came up. There was a lot of scuttlebutt in the newspaper about my salary. I'm just going to tell you, I took a $25,000 cut in pay to come home. So it's not about the money for me, it's about the opportunity to give back to the community of Visalia and the Central Valley, which you saw through the experience with my grandparents has incredibly blessed me. So I'm here to give you 100% of what I have, and I hope that we can work together and reach each other halfway. I've said it a couple times, and I'm going to close with this. The college is too important to this region. And so I think it can't fail. And so beneath, you know, our PhDs and our EDDs and the state bureaucracy and the regulations and Title V and our FTES and the FON and the accreditation, underneath all of that, I believe in community college, we're here to do our own little share of God's work. And there's no purpose more destined to succeed. Thank you, have a great year, and we'll see you soon.